If your Facebook ad costs or Google ad costs have doubled in the last year and you're barely breaking even on your campaigns, this video is going to save your business. And I'm going to show you the exact exit strategy that smart business owners are using to reduce their dependency on expensive Facebook ads and paying Mark Zuckerberg so much money while actually increasing the quality of your leads. And no, it's not about switching to another paid platform that's going to get you just as expensive results, right? Now, let's talk about section 1 here, which is the Facebook ads death spiral. Now, let's actually talk about what's really happening with Facebook ads. If you're paying anywhere from $250 to $750 per qualified call, when you used to be paying, $100 to $200 per qualified call, you're not alone. This isn't just your campaigns performing purely or poorly. This is the new reality. And here is why this is happening. Well, first off, we all know that the iOS updates destroyed tracking, right? So Facebook's algorithm is basically shooting in the dark currently, and sure, they're working on the AI models that is supposedly going to get better. But at the time of shooting this video, this is the reality that we are in right now. Second of all, most businesses are competing for the same audience, right? Which is driving costs up. And third, people are getting ad blind to the same hooks and offers that used to work in the past, right? People are just seeing the same things over and over again, especially when you have, entrepreneurs following Alex Hormozi, right? And all these entrepreneurs are reading the same book, right? And they're all making the same offer, right? Like the previous $100 million offers, it was, our results work or you don't pay. How many times have you seen that offer, right? And people use that offer in their ads, and people are getting sick of it because they're getting burnt by businesses who say, oh, you don't have to pay if it doesn't work. And then there's some sort of clause in the agreement or something that, no better word to say it, fucks them over, right? That is completely unacceptable. But the point here is that I solidly believe if the 99% does this and you want to be part of the 1%, well, then you have to do something else, right? But I digress. Here's the real problem. Most business owners are responding to this crisis by trying to optimize their way out of it, okay? They're split testing creatives, trying new audiences, hiring Facebook ad agencies, right? And while they're doing that, they're burning through cash faster than ever. Because the hard truth is this: if your entire lead generation depends just on Facebook ads, you're building a business on rented land, and the rent just went up permanently. Now, I've literally seen businesses go from 50K months to barely breaking even, all because they refuse to diversify beyond Facebook ads. And the businesses that are thriving right now, well, they saw this coming and built systems that don't depend on Zuckerberg's mood swings, okay? Now, let's talk about the second section here, which is, why the obvious solutions don't work anymore, okay? Now, before I give you the real solution, let me tell you why the obvious alternative everybody's talking to you about won't save you. Well, let's talk about the other obvious one, which is Google Ads, right? Everybody say just switch to Google Ads, right? Well, here's the problem. Google Ads work great for businesses within high search or that has high search volume keywords. But if you're in coaching, consulting, or any high ticket service really, people aren't necessarily searching for exactly what you sell. They're searching for their problems, not the solutions to their problems, okay? And in addition to that, excuse me, Google ad costs are actually on the rise too. And all you're doing is trading one expensive platform for another expensive platform, okay? Now you might be thinking there and saying to yourself, well, what about TikTok and Instagram, Craig? Well, that's important too. Let me touch on that. I'm glad you asked. Well, you'll hear constantly people saying, go where the attention is, or go where the attention is. The problem with that is that these platforms are optimized for entertainment, not sales, right? Yes, you can get views and followers, but try to get somebody to spend 5K or 10K or even more than that, after they've basically watched a 30 minutes video of you on TikTok, right? The likelihood of them doing that is very, very low. It's not like 2015 where you can post an ad, people will click on it, right, and spend 5K right away. Those days are over, right? And the audience quality is completely different on these platforms, right? Sure, you'll get, a lot of engagement from people who cannot afford your services, but is that really what you're looking for? You're looking as a business owner and as a founder, you're looking to drive business or generate, leads and qualified calls to your closers calendar, not empty bodies, right? Now, You might be saying, well, Craig, you're forgetting about LinkedIn, right? Well, LinkedIn can work for some businesses, but it's also slow and harder to scale in my experience. Plus, if everybody starts flooding LinkedIn with the same strategies, it's going to get saturated just like Facebook has and did, right? Now, again, you might be saying, well, Craig, there's also SEO and content marketing, right? And here's the advice that everybody gives, right? Just create content to rank on Google. Well, that's great advice if you want to wait 12 to 18 months to see the results, but most businesses cannot survive that long with the current Facebook ad costs, right? And the real issue is that all of these solutions still depend on you consistently feeding the machine, right? You stop posting, you stop paying, you stop showing up, and your leads disappear, okay? Now, let's talk about what the real exit strategy actually looks like here. Now that you know what the other alternatives do not really work, what is the real exit strategy here, right? Now, it's not about finding a cheaper advertising platform. It's actually about building a lead generation system that works even when ad costs go to zero, right? Now, the strategy here has three parts. Part one is extract maximum value from every lead you already have. And I cannot tell you how many businesses I see, and so many businesses are so bad at this, right? They spend $400 to get a call, and if that person doesn't buy immediately, what do? Move on to the next call or the next lead. That's insanity to me, right? Think about it logically. If you're paying around $400 more per call right now, you need everything possible to get, or you need everything to go right to get your investment back, right? That means proper follow-up, multiple touch points, and actual human conversation, right? There's so many businesses that are, moving to this AI model. Oh, AI setters, AI this, AI that. That's all fine and well and might work for a little bit. However, history always repeats itself. Cycles are going to happen, and people are going to get fed up, talking to AI, setters essentially, right? And that can work very good in low ticket environments. However, when you're asking somebody to invest $2,500, $5K, $10K, even $20K and above with you, they want to talk to a real human. They don't want to talk to a robot. I can guarantee you that, right? And this is where most businesses are basically leaving money on the table, right? They'll spend a lot of money on ads, but won't invest in the systems to properly work those leads, okay? Now, what's part two of the exit strategy? Well, this is where you're going to be building a referral and word of mouth systems, okay? Because your best clients can become your best lead source, but only if you have a system for it, right? And most businesses just hope referrals will just happening, but hope is not a strategy, right? When you deliver great results, and that's the key, you have to deliver great results and then systematically ask for referrals when they are at their happiest, right? Introductions, testimonials, and everything that you have delivered for that client can then create and be a lead source that costs you nothing and brings in pre-qualified prospects, right? Now, part three to the real exit strategy is create your own media that builds authority, right? And this is, again, the long-term play that kind of adds into that SEO factor that we talked about, but can be quicker than SEO. And instead of renting attention from Facebook, build your own audience through content that positions yourself as the expert in your space, right? And you can do this on platforms such as, YouTube, because, YouTube is a platform where, your content can stay for a long period of time. And I don't know the statistic here, but it is the platform where the half-life of the video is the longest, right? Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, people see it and it's gone, right? YouTube, your video sticks around a little bit longer, right? And I'm not specifically talking about hoping that your posts go viral, okay? I'm talking specifically about creating valuable content that your ideal client actually consumes, right? And building that trust over time and positioning yourself as the obvious choice when they are ready to buy, right? But here's the key. None of this works without the right people executing this. And this leads me to section 4, right? Which is why most businesses cannot execute on this strategy, right? And the real reason, right, or basically the reason most business owners can't implement this strategy isn't because they don't understand it, right? It's pretty easy to understand. It's because they don't have the right team to execute it, right? And think about what this strategy requires, right? You need somebody that follows up with every single lead properly within 5 minutes. That is a hard rule, right? And you also need somebody to systematically generate referrals. And in addition to that, you also need somebody to create and distribute your content consistently, right? And that's also a very, very good key with content, is to be consistent, okay? Now, most business owners are already overwhelmed running their core business, and they don't have time to, personally call every single lead, ask every client for referrals, and create content every single week, day in and day out, right? But here's what happens. They try to do it themselves for a few months, get overwhelmed, and then go right back to buying Facebook ads, right, and leads from Facebook because it feels easier, right? But what is now feeling easier is costing them 2 to 3 times the amount that it used to, okay? And the businesses that actually successfully exit the Facebook ads dependency cycle are the ones that invest in the right people to execute these strategies for them, okay? And this is exactly why we built Sales Match the way that we did. We specialize in placing the exact same people with exact people you need to execute on this exit strategy. Our appointment setters don't just book calls from your Facebook ads, all right? They work every single lead in your system, past client referrals, and all the leads that didn't convert, right? They're gonna extract the maximum value from every lead source that you have. And because they work on commission, you're not paying huge salaries and hope it works out. You only pay when they produce results, okay? But here's what really sets this apart. We place people who understand high ticket sales and relationship building, okay? They're not just dialing for dollars. They're building genuine relationships that turn into referrals and repeat business. And our guarantee is simple, right? If the person we place doesn't work out within 60 days, we'll replace them, no questions asked, because we want to ensure that you get somebody who's a good fit for your business. So the goal isn't to replace your Facebook ad costs or Facebook ads overnight. The goal is to build an attention lead source, or an additional lead source, so that when Facebook costs double again, and which they will, it doesn't destroy your business. So again, here's what you need to do right now. First, calculate how much you're actually spending per client acquisition, your customer acquisition cost, not per lead, and include your ad spend, your time, everything, right? And the number is probably scary, I know. Then ask yourself, what would happen to your business if Facebook shut down tomorrow, or if costs doubled again? And the answer is probably my business would be in serious trouble, right? Well, if that's the answer, then you need to act now, right? Because you can keep hoping that Facebook ad costs will come down, or you can build a business that doesn't depend on Mark Zuckerberg's algorithm, right? The choice is yours. So I really hope this video helps and you learned a lot about that. There's links in the descriptions. If you need us to go out there, recruit, and basically find top closers and appointment setters for your business, we can get that done for you down below. So I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.